Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today I will try to make um, some pavement patterns. So let's start. So the first thing I will start will be with this mesh 2 pattern right here, and I will increase the tiling. Maybe 3 will work great. And what I will do is increase the levels and increase the white and increase the black. And as you can see, we got this pattern right here. And what I will do is create a flood fill with a flood fill gradient, flood fill grayscale, sorry. And I will take a pearly noise just to create the color variation for this pattern, like this. And I will create a distance node when I will connect this as my source input and my levels as my mask. And I will choose the only source, and we create this really interesting pattern right here. And after that I will use the edge detect to make this pattern. Okay, and okay, this will be the base pattern of our pavement material. So what we will do right now is create a very soft blur, because every time we use edge detect you can see this aliasing right here. So if you use the blur, you can see this aliasing decrease a lot. So after that you can create another levels to clip the black, increase the white, something like this, and the pattern is perfect. Okay, so let's start working in the shape. I will create some slow blur to make some damage in some borders. So let me increase the samples, decrease the intensity. I will change the mode to minimum. Something like this. Okay, I will create another one with another pearly noise, but this one I want a smaller damage. Okay, what I will try to do is create a blend right here, where I will put this as a min darken, and with the opacity I can decrease the height of this damage. So let's connect right here to see how this is looking. So I will decrease, I will increase the normals, and I will decrease the ambient occlusion. It's too strong. Maybe something like this. Another thing I can do, it's work a little bit here in this blur and edge detect. Maybe uh, the size is too big, so I can decrease this right here. And decrease the intensity of the blur too. One thing I want to create too is create a blend right here and multiply with the distance to make a height variation. I think make this material much more interesting. So what I will do right now is create, let me see. Okay, I will select the dirt. I will try to use the dirt 2 and the dirt. Let's see. I think the tree is too noisy. Let's try the first one. Okay, the tree it's more uniform, and the first one will have more height variation. As you can see, a brighter shape right here, and some darker one here, and right there is much more uniform. So I I will try to use this in my shape. Mm, Maybe decrease a little bit this opacity. I think the core shape is really interesting. And what I will do after that is create another blend with the dirt to this one make a bigger spot in the surface. Okay, the base shape looks really interesting. One thing I can try to do right here in the flood fill, no, I will need to create another one, um, is create a flood fill with a flood fill now gradient. And with this, make some angle variation for the shape. But as you can notice, if we use, let's try first use in this way. If not work, we will need to create a distance to clip this difference right here. So let's try multiply this one. If this work, I think worked pretty decent. Let's see if this will make a difference. So, for example, if you need to fill these black areas, uh, you can use the distance node, put in this at your source input, and use this as your mask input. The edge detect the base shape. I think the result make a really difference. So if I connect right here, you can see the difference. It's much more smooth, and I prefer it this way. So let's continue. Um, I will hold this back right here. So I will create now another slopes to make more bigger damage from the sides. Maybe I can try to use the moisture. No, let's try use the Gaussian noise. will try to make bigger patterns with this. We got some small details and some borders. Let's try use this noise, but I will need a mask, and the mask I will use the distance. Um, I will go back here at this blend, and let's see what I can get with this mask. So I will increase the black just to get some patterns right here. And let's create a levels trying to clip. I will make a transform scratching this shape like this. And I will create a directional warp. And this warp I will use the distance just to break the pattern. Like this. Okay, I will create now a curvature smooth to make my roughness. So the roughness is very simple because I will just invert my curvature smooth and blend with the spots. So I will just multiply and decrease the opacity and select right here in my roughness. I like to use the histogram scan to control my roughness. One thing I will try to create too is I will duplicate these two right here, and I will make a new gradient random, and with this I will blend back with the clouds and try um, multiply Okay, I will try to decrease on the. I want this detail very small, just some points we have here in this border, having some other position. So okay, and what I will try to do right now is try to get, mm, how can I put it, like a dirt between these spaces right here. And for this, I can use the edge detect. And how I will use this will be very simple because I will, I will create a levels right here to work with this edge detect, and I will inverting this. I will use a distance node to increase this border height to create my mask. So I will use the tile sampler and use this as my mask input, and I will use the paraboloid, but I will create a lot of this with the scale, some scale random, position random, and rotation random we don't need, but some color random, and the, where it is, the mask map threshold. And I will need to increase much more, so something like this should work. And I will create a very soft blur for this, and I will use a height blend, and I will decrease a lot. But here what I will do is very simple. I will create now a dirt. Let's try 3. Let's see how is the dirt 4. Okay, the first thing I will try to decrease this distance to a small value. Okay, you can see the dirt at the edges part of this material. I think the result it was really cool. So what I will do right now is create the gradient part of this. I will start with a basic dark color, a mid color, and a bright one. Something like this. Let me connect right here. Okay, the first thing I will use the flood fill, this one right here, to make the flood fill color uh, random color. This one. Maybe I can try to use a brighter color because help to make the color variation, and if we need to desaturate it's easier make this after uh, make all the first setup. Select this one right here. Okay, now we'll create a blend. Okay, make some random colors. Okay, what I will do right now is create some noisy patterns. So I will start with the pearly noise. Let me scale down. I will blend. Oops. Blend this pearly noise with the base shape. Like this. I will create the spots tree, should work well with this, and create a multiply. And let's try find a good color for this. I will try to take some reference. Okay, let's try the other spots, maybe spots 2, it's more sharpened. Mm, so let's try. Okay, I think the result with this it's much more interesting. Let's try to saturate a little bit this material. So I think we got a really cool colors. So what I will make right now is create a new blend, but this time I will use the mask of this because I need a color for this mess. So maybe I can use this blend after the color correction right here. Let's go back here in this roughness. One thing, just to finish this material, I will maybe I can use this grunge map 4 just to make some small details. So here we'll try to use a green color, maybe some yellow, but here a white again. And here in the black part, I will take off the opacity and let's try blend together. Maybe I can try fit a better color correction for this, maybe desaturating a little bit this material. Okay, I will just make a pretty noise trying to mask this. Now you can see we have smaller points. So let's see how this affects the color. So now we make these small details. I think that's it for today. Hope you enjoy this type of material. It's more realistic ones, but hope you enjoy it. So I see you next time. Bye bye.